As you can see, we're on Linux Mint 20 with the Mate desktop, and this video is focused on Compiz. What happened in Linux Mint 20 was there was no Linux Mint profile set up in here, which is usually called Mint, and the back end was set to this flat file rather than the G settings. So if we go to G settings, there's normally a Mint profile in there, but you can see it's not there. If you activated Compiz on your Linux Mint 20 system and then come through here and selected all the options that you wanted, and you're now about to upgrade to Linux Mint 20.1, when you restart your computer, you're going to find all your settings are going to be all over the shop. And when you go back into here, you'll see it'll be on G settings and on the Mint profile, which we'll show shortly after we update this system. So we're just going to go through a demo of what that might have actually looked like. So I'm just going to enable a few settings here, and we'll give it a bit of a tweak. We'll give it 3 rather than a cube, just so it'll be obvious which system we're using or which profile we're running on. So we'll just give ourselves a few settings here, and that looks pretty good. Take Xfce as well, and we'll take the bottom right. There you go. So there's my settings there. So we'll go ahead and activate Compiz. I think some updates have occurred over the period of time that Linux Mint 20's been out, because I don't recall doing any changes to this system, and it didn't break. When Linux Mint 20 first came out, you ended up with a broken desktop. You had no title bars, you couldn't move or resize the windows and so forth. But we've got fairly sort of sane defaults there now. We can go like that if we want to snap windows. So if you've done something similar to what I just did there, you've gone ahead and activated Compiz on your Linux Mint 20 system, and you've started giving yourself settings like I've just done there. So I should have a bit of a triangle looking cube there, and I should have my Xfce 3 desktops across there. And now we're going to upgrade to Linux Mint 20.1, and then we'll come back in here and we'll see what's happened. It'll be off this flat file. It'll be on G settings and on a Mint profile. So let's go ahead and upgrade the system. Okay, we'll let that run for 10 or 15 minutes until it's finished, and then we'll come back and have a look at our Compiz and see what sort of state it's left us in and what options we have from there. So the upgrade's completed. We'll close out of there. Let's reset the mirrors. We're not going to worry about any of that. I'll just run this thing they recommend running. Apt install USR merge. Guess we say yes to that. We look like we're all done. So we'll restart the system and we'll go and have a look at Compiz. We can see the pop-up when I hover over the menu is saying 20.1. Just run the welcome screen to show you. There it is, 20.1 Mate desktop. Now let's go and have a look at our Compiz. Well, before I even do that, my triangle cube has stopped working, and the Xfce for the desktop. So this might be the first thing people notice, is that their settings aren't working. So let's have a look in preferences, and indeed it's changed to GS settings from the flat file, and there's the Mint profile. Your basic options now are to continue using the Mint profile and G settings, and go back and replicate all the settings that you want. So if we come in here, we can take this one, resolve the conflicts, and we should have a cube now. So we could keep going like that if we wanted to add more settings, such as this one. So now the new window should open in the middle of the screen instead of up in that top corner. So we could continue down there. We'll go back And if we look in preferences, so we've now changed this Mint profile from what Linux Mint provided. So we could actually export that and re-import it back in as your own, whatever you want to call it. Or we can actually, if we want to, we can just go back to the flat file. And I've had that a bit, that Compiz Settings Manager crashes, but if we have a look now, see we've got our triangle back, and there's our 3 desktops across there as well. So if Compiz crashes like that and it doesn't respond, log out and back in, or restart your computer. As I say, I have had that happen to me a couple of times while I've been testing all this. So we'll just have a look. I don't know if there's any fundamental difference between flat file and G settings other than the ability to import and export profiles. The 2 basic choices after upgrading from Linux Mint 20 to 20.1 is to just accept what is and go back and redo all your settings the way that you want them. Or you can just go back to your original flat file. If you never touched anything when you first activated Compiz on your Linux Mint 20 system, then it'll probably be on flat file is where you've done all your profile changes and so forth. So just coming in here after upgrading your 20 system to a 20.1 and changing that from G settings to flat file should get you back up and running where you were before you run the 20.1 upgrade.